Hello, Galaxy. Chris Pirillo here. You've tuned into another live edition of the Locker Room Daily Report, or TLDR for short. I do not have a headache. This is news because yesterday I had a headache. I hope I don't give you a headache. I'm getting a little warm. It's getting a little toasty in here. As a reminder, next week things are going to look a little different. I'm thinking that I'll be able to still have this camera showing my chair, but I'm going to be in a different location. So keep that in mind. Not that anyone I think would even notice, but you never know. So anyway, we'll get into the tech news. But let me first start out by saying, and we were just having this conversation in chat before I started to do this recording, but I did, as you know, you should know, I dim that a bit, because otherwise you can't really see it. I've been printing these Play Action Toys Isaacs, and Play Action Toys modeled that. I asked him to model it, and he did. And so I printed it out and then sent it over to the show's, one of the show's associate editors. He's also basically the lead community engager for people who enjoy the Orville. He loved it. And so I said, I'd be willing to print some and send them off. And so I'm in the process of doing it. In fact, overnight, I'm going to be using Polymaker to print it. So you'll see that running on MakerDeck as well as in this live stream, because we are streaming this 24/7 at live.pirillo.com, sponsored by StreamYard. Today, I posted on my Twitter account the K1 army there, and Tom reshared it, and it's fine. I told him he didn't. I basically said, hey, these photos are yours. Like, I took them. I'm doing this, but it's like I'm already stepping outside the boundaries of IP, because I'm dealing with an unofficial person who works, in association with the show and these companies, and they never produce figures, never. And so I thought that it would be nice to have an Isaac figure. Maybe we'll be getting a Bortus at some point in the near future. I'm hoping for a Bortus, possibly. A very generic Bortus, but the idea was that I'd print them out and send them. So I'm going to be sending along these Kalon figures to Tom, and Tom, I believe, is also going to pass them along to other people, including the actor Mark. Thank you, Dropkick. It's amazing. I'm happy to have you here, as well as Seth MacFarlane. So it is entirely possible. Well, not this one. This one's mine. It is entirely possible that Seth MacFarlane will be holding on to one of my 3D prints, which is pretty wild, out of the blue. But if anything, and CNUP and I were just kind of batting this, back and forth, it'd be exciting to kind of be a part of that journey, because they never produced figures, like licensed. There's not a lot of merch out there for the Orville. There were some like tinier figures, but it's not that exciting. But an action figure, something like this, by putting it out there and sharing it, what happens, or what? Let's game this out. What happens if enough people want that? Now they have an opportunity to say, look, someone made this, people clearly want it, we need to make merch, we need to make action figures, right? There's interest, right? So if anything, what I'm doing is helping drum up support and interest for the show, and when I say long story short, like if they ever do go into toy production, and they sell official like licensed merch, I will not have made a dime and made Seth MacFarlane millions and millions richer. So the only thing I can ask for is maybe a quick video, with it, or just I know there are 1,000,001 actors in extras options in LA, but you ever want a special extra? Here's my number, right? I would love, that would be so cool to just be a part of that. So if that would be payment enough for me, is to have that experience, to be a part of something that Seth has done. But no, they haven't asked. I haven't asked, but I'm like, well, if it gets to that point, that's what my ask would be. I'm like, I can't ask for anything apart from, should an option or opportunity ever arise, I'm here. I'd be happy to be a part. Even if it's a non-speaking role, I'd be happy with it. So anyway, that was shared today. He shared it in his Instagram. I don't know how many more I'm going to do before sending them off. well, possibly even, I've done, what, 7? 8, 9, 10, 11. These Chrome, if I do 4, I can get them out pretty darn quickly. So you may very well see in Seth MacFarlane's feed him holding on to an Isaac figure that I printed. Like, whew, you know, it's conceivably possible. He doesn't do a lot of selfies though. He really doesn't. So anyway, that is it would just be, I would just love to see his reaction, honestly, after all said and done. So today in tech news, okay, that was the most exciting thing. In boring tech news, Apple has scheduled WWDC 2023, June 5th through June 9th, virtual event with the June 5th keynote. iOS 17, iPad OS 17, tvOS 17, watchOS 10, and macOS 14 are expected. I would love that. Now we're at iOS 17, right? And I've argued it's been needing to be rebooted. I don't think it's going to happen. What I would love is maybe when they reach iOS 20 level, they basically reset the names or titles or branding, because they're releasing them in tandem. So it doesn't make any sense that it's watchOS 10, macOS 14, iPadOS 17. It's all over the map in terms of numbering. But if like, let's say they make a dramatic leap in what it is, they reset all the branding right around iOS 20, let's say. Or let's say they reinvent everything so much or create like such a different experience that it warrants a leap, then everything becomes that new branding. So that would be my hope. That would be something that I would like to see, if only because it's just easier to remember which version are they on. Well, I know it's this, but it's that. What is it? Just to have it on an even playing field. That would be something that I would hope for. But again, when it comes to Apple, I'm not going to hold my breath. Kind of done doing that. I kind of gave up years ago on that. Still using Apple. I'm using it right now, as a matter of fact, on the camera that you see me on. Look, it's using continuity camera, an iPhone connected to Mac OS. Kind of neat how it works that way. It's how I use the iPhone, by not looking at the screen. Probably overkill, admittedly, but it gives me that nice little, if anything, that is the perfect use case for this camera, because people ask, it is dynamic. So if it's better than the average camera in the sense that it gets your attention. I mean, some people like, how photos look, certainly, but we don't have a lot of activity on live.pirillo.com right now. Queso, I think, is taking a break right now in Star Wars Galaxies. Though Mike is doing Retro Tech or Die. He's got AMSAT satellite tracking on the C64. So that is live. That is live and in real time. It is legit. That is not just a static Commodore 64 screen. So anyway, that happened. In other news, EA plans to lay off approximately 6% of its workforce, cutting its office space because they thought, well, they need the space, and then they don't. And I would go as far as to say the hope would be that this trend continues, as in fewer companies buying all this space. Because if anything, I want to see, personally, more people in the industry really propping up the people who are doing remote work. That's my personal belief, right? And I've said this to the nth degree. You have to pardon me. I bit my lip and I keep rebiting it. Oh man, it's looking. I bit it earlier. I was eating an apple and crunch. It really crunched into it. It really hurt.
Just resubscribed for 21 months.
Zach, I hope you took advantage of the big Lego sale earlier. There was the Ninjago, the big Ninjago model was like 15% off or something like that on Amazon. Very, very briefly. It won't go away. I know. I keep rebiting it. It's anger inducing, quite honestly. Because crunch and then ow. That hurt. Oh man, that hurt. Oh. Yeah, so that's not exactly tech news. I got to the geek news though. Already, you missed it, Zach. I don't know. Wait, Zach, do you watch the Orville? or have you watched Orville? Anywhere at all? I know some people haven't gotten into it yet. It's a matter of time, but I assume you've seen The Mandalorian. I've been staying up to date on that. I have as well. No spoilers tonight, though. Yep. You have? Okay, because then so I'm going to repeat it for the sake of Zach being here and for resubscribing. I had Play Action Toys model an Isaac figure, and I sent it over to the editor, or one of their associate editors, and he shared it with Seth MacFarlane. And so basically, I'm going to be 3D printing Isaac action figures for Seth MacFarlane and other people who are associated with the Orville. And I've printed several of them. All of those are pretty much going to... one of those right there is going to be in the hands of Seth MacFarlane. And yes, I liked them. Oh, wait, I didn't like that one. Oops. I meant to like the other one. My bad. So yeah, that's... that. Honestly, I got to tell you, like, of all the news today, I know there's stuff we're gonna be worming our way through all the other items that have been stacked up from the tech news stream as I see them. The big one being Apple, but like the Orville, like, come on, that's just... so I don't know what's going to come of it. But anyway, yeah, Zach, that's 3D printing. I'm just glad I didn't get in trouble. Because, you know, sometimes companies can be really, really testy. And it wasn't a company. I reached out to an associate editor. I did that on purpose, right? Knowing full well they could say, yeah, don't do that. They're going to get really agitated. But they didn't. Twitter is detailing a new API access tier plan. Different levels: free with 1,500 tweets a month at the app level, basic for 100 a month, then enterprise. Old APIs are going to stop working in 30 days, so they're definitely changing everything. Stem disturb. Oh, I know, Zach. Well, that's the beautiful thing, is by putting this out there, we're basically from the trenches, illustrating the fact that fans want to have the action figures. They want the toys. They want the merch. So if anything, it just kind of drums up attention and support in and around the Orville. It's something new to show. It's something different to show, right? And so now when I send this to Tom will be able to take the Isaac around, you know, and do like Isaac in the real world, right? And basically, you know, that's what I'll tell him to do. I'm like, just do that. Just put Isaac in the real world in different places, and people will get a kick out of it. And they'll ask, like, where can I get him? Like, well, then you can let them know they can print it on printables for sure. We'll see. The beauty of technology. And if technology helps unite fans with fandoms, I'm all in. And the fact that, if anything, even if my name is brought up, right, as you know, at any point in the future, that's, to me, it's worth it. And it's worth it to have the Isaac figure, but to be a part of the story at this point moving forward, if there is a story, is kind of exciting. Tech was always this great democratizer, and really, I haven't felt that way about technology in the longest time. Like when the internet was brand new, like, it was just exciting to be able to email someone from halfway around the world. I mean, to tell kids these days how exciting that is, I'm like, it's routine, dude. You can just message somebody. But back then, it was so different. That was exciting. So I remember getting in touch with like book authors and some people who had worked in television and thinking, oh my God, I emailed blah, blah, blah. So the such and such's website. Oh my God. And I was just beside myself, over the moon. Nowadays, they got a Twitter account. Like, it's not, access is no longer, you know, all that special. So, you know, to be a part, if there is a story to be had in and around this, I would love to have have played some kind of role, if there is a role to be played in whatever happens with it, as a fan, you know, who would want to see more of the things that I love, and that's the beauty of really fan art more than anything. It makes it exciting. to be able to participate at this level, even though this is not an official Hulu account that it's being accelerated. I know it'll hit their radar, and I'm sure there's a possibility that they're going to squelch it, right? It's not going to, I mean, but it's 3D printed. Like, it's not, this is not, you know, super amazing plastic or whatever, but it works well enough that I know people would get a kick out of it. And there were people who had downloaded it on printables too, which was nice to see. Whether or not it's going to, you know, go beyond that, I don't really know. I'm very, very interested in seeing how this, you know, continues to unfold, knowing full well that without a 3D printer and without Twitter or without, you know, technology and the internet, these options wouldn't even be possible. Wouldn't even be possible. So I'm very glad. This is, again, the way I look at technology is it's enabler, right? It's what we do with it that really really sets the stage for power, tremendous power, because what we do with it is what matters. In my humble opinion, what matters most. That's why I tend not to get caught up in specs. The specs are not, quite honestly, all that interesting. You can get into the weeds, especially when you're looking at a purchase decision. But, like, to me, I don't know what's going to come of it. But I didn't do it to get something from it, right? I did it because, hey, this is cool. I'd like to see it happen. There's no business plan for it. There's no trajectory for it. I've got no, you know, notions that this is going to be any larger than it is right now. The fact that an associate editor loves it, is encouraged, you know, not necessarily encouraged, but is into the idea, right? So I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens with it. I have to ask him what other Star Wars characters he likes. I'll probably throw in some extra Star Wars characters that I've printed too for Tom, for him, or anybody else that he might want to pass around. I may want to print out some stormtroopers for him. He may get a kick out of the stormtroopers because I can. A snowtrooper, a stormtrooper. Print out a couple of those. Send him a little gift box. Send him a couple of me. It's easy enough. I can do a Chris Pirillo action figure. Not that it matters. Not that any of this matters. There is something that does matter, though. This is something that I'm surprised did not get as much attention as I thought it would. But there, by the way, there's a new flaw in the Wi-Fi protocol. IEEE 802.11 could be exploited to inject malicious content into TCP packets and more, impacting routers and OSs. So you may want to stay tuned for updates on that. Not good. I repeat, not good. No immediate exploits known in the wild, but just another hole that's out there waiting to be patched, if it's ever patched. Telling you, man, you don't realize when I say I don't like connecting a lot of devices to the network, this is one of the reasons why. I want a smaller footprint, not a larger footprint. FDA says approval for medical devices now requires meeting certain cybersecurity standards, which is good. Like, this is, again, it comes down to the idea of people basically, here, I can do it this way now. Watch this. I basically have this feeling that a lot of those devices that are produced are not produced with security in mind. So when we have devices in the wild that have exploits that are never patched, this is a problem. So the fact that there's regulation that's coming down the pike, this is an instance where I believe regulation is critical, because we can't expect these companies to regulate themselves, especially as far as your security is concerned. It's usually convenience over security, and it shouldn't be that way. If anything, they should work hand in hand. Netflix's iOS app code suggests the company may expand its video game service to TV sets for the first time, using phones as controllers, which is pretty good. I like that idea, because I usually have my phone on me, and then, you know, I have Netflix up on the TV when I'm using Netflix on the TV. Sometimes now, when I'm doing the broadcasts, that it's just me in front of the screen with the Netflix. So I have controllers here, but when I'm laying in bed, I definitely do not have controllers laying around me. I do have controllers in and around where I might be, but not like, you know, where I'm going to grab them. There are, you can download in the Netflix app, at least, and I assume this would also be the case on iOS. I never do. I never launched the Netflix app. Device failure occurred. Okay, cool. I will try it again. I'm in. Oh wait, hang on. It logged me out. So let me try it again. There we go. Chris, there's a games tab. And what's interesting about the games, these are all like free games, unlimited games, right? But they're, I don't even know if Diana knows that she can get them. But when you like go to, let's say, what's a good one? Okay, so the Shredder one, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Get game. What it does is it kicks you over to the Netflix app on the Google Play Store. So I got to tell Diana that Into the Breach, another one, Get Game. Again, it jumps you over to the game that you can download in the App Store, specifically the Google Play Store. But I mean, this is decent. I mean, they don't have like a ton of games like that. SpongeBob, Get Cooking. If you are interested, Diana might like that. She's into those kinds of games. But they're free with a Netflix subscription. So it's nice to know you're paying for something that you may or may not be using. This is the one. Let me pull up what I wanted to get. Oh, I'm going to get this guy. Someone, a colleague wants access to my creatortech.net event business plan. It's just an outline right now. I'm trying to turn it into a presentation. So I've been looking for an AI tool to turn it into a presentation. And I'm not finding anything. Or couldn't find anything outright up front. Okay, so let me grab the message that I wanted to share. So there was a letter, basically, today, like over 1,000 people, including researchers, critics, etc., including people like Elon Musk, who are basically releasing a letter to quote unquote pause giant AI experiments. Now, this basically calls for a moratorium on training any AI system more powerful than GPT-4. So you might think, okay, that's good. It's because they're trying to protect us. Well, but the people who signed it are direct competitors. And Elon Musk, it's been suggested, had been developing what would ostensibly be a competitor to ChatGPT from OpenAI. So this letter comes across as like, no, stop. We got to catch up. So they don't want competition. Moreover, I will say, and I did post this earlier on Mastodon as well as Twitter. The genie's out of the bottle. Like, how do you begin to get like what you need to get out of what's there in terms of the large language models, the momentum, everything. If this moratorium is followed, even if it was there for let's say altruistic means, right? Let's say OpenAI says, okay, you're right. We're gonna pause training and all that. All the competition gets to advance. So any kind of regulation or legislation that comes in now, you got to think about all the companies and entities and countries and bad faith actors who don't have a pause button. And they don't care. So what's out there now? The genie's out of the bottle. You can't shove the shit back into the horse. Like, it's there. So we're going to have to deal with this now and moving forward indefinitely. I don't think there's any chance of this being paused at all. Their concern, in summary, is that AI development is starting to get out of control and that powerful AI systems should be developed only once we're confident that effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable. To be clear, they're not calling for an end of AI development, but a public and verifiable pause by all key actors to build AI that is more accurate, safe, impenetrable, transparent, robust, aligned, trustworthy, and loyal. But the problem is, how can you how can you achieve that? How is that ever achievable? It's like saying, release an operating system that's free of bugs. Don't release the operating system until it doesn't have any bugs. Like, it's not, you can't, how is that even practical? How is that even possible? So yeah, I'm a little off-put by it. And I tend to fall on the side of, no, they shouldn't pause, as much as I'm scared. I'm frightened at what's going to happen. I feel it, and for reasons that I've brought up in recent TLDR episodes, there are more unknown variables at play and jobs at stake. Your job, you went to college, your job's at stake. You're in tech, your job's at stake. You got an office job, a 9 to 5, you a desk jockey, your job's at stake. You're saying, they're never going to replace. No, dude. I'm telling you, every damn day, I see either an example of how someone's using AI to save hours of work, or an example of how it is effectively replacing people, especially for tasks that would otherwise be mundane and challenging to parse. That's where I feel like I'm looking for use cases to better parse possibilities, such that ChatGPT can work even more in my favor, right? By going through and figuring out how it is I need it to structure data. How is it that I want to be able to explain something without actually going through the drudgery of re-explaining it or recontextualizing it, put all the pieces in place. For example, I'm building right now, seems to be as built as it can be, a business plan for the creatortech.net experience, whether that's events primarily and or ostensibly like a platform that would effectively be a place for just creator tech to be surfaced, including like all these types of tools that would involve the creative process and the prospect. The audio, video, writing, any of these are creative like tools. 3D, 2D, like any photos, video, multimedia experiences, multimodal experiences. That there's no place, there's no centralized repository, and I want to dovetail that sooner rather than later with an event strategy. So I had to flesh out kind of a business plan. Like, okay, what does this need to look like? What should that look like? What should it be included here? What do I need to think through here? How does this look? How does this work? Especially as I'm building out partnerships and agreements, what are the finer points that need to be covered? Like, what are certain things that we need to consider? And this is where ChatGPT can effectively come in and basically fill those gaps, so that I don't have to think, of all these contingencies. I can think through like what the contingencies might be as we continue to go down the path of having those conversations in terms of partnerships. In fact, it got me thinking of something else I probably need to do, in terms of the business plan, if only to answer questions. I tend to write more than I need to write, but all the more reason why I've also been wanting to do a bullet point to PowerPoint tool. I've been looking for one. So if you know of one, don't be shy. Let me know, because I need to have I need to have that done, because I know having a deck will be a lot easier to present, and for me to do it, like, I just need it synthesized into a PowerPoint presentation. And I don't think I can paste anything into ChatGPT, because I think I will go like way overboard in terms of character count, which would be unfortunate. Told you this, how to make $100. There are many ways to make $100. Best option for you, depending on your skills. Look through your home for items you no longer use. Yeah, that's fair. That's actually pretty smart. That's low-hanging fruit. It's a good way of generating revenue. People have even prompted it to say, I've got $100 to spend. What is the best website to launch and serve our product to launch to start generating revenue sooner rather than later? And it's been interesting to see that be used, ChatGPT used for to that end. It has generated code in the past. I wouldn't say it's necessarily perfect code or workable code, I'd be a little nervous about it, given that I'm not a developer, so I could not go through and say one way or another whether or not the code is sound or safe. Yeah, if you have not worked ChatGPT into your flow, I mean, I've got, like I said, I've got a stub for basically this event. Like I'm going back and I'm editing what I'm working on in just one single thread on ChatGPT for history, and using that as kind of a foundation of, this is what I'm trying to do. What might this look like? What if we did this? How would that look? What are some contingencies? What are some variables? And then game it out, right? So everything, it just put a finer point on damn near everything I might have needed to do. And otherwise I would have just stewed on, like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, it helps you move from I need to do to I got it done. And that's the power of technology. That's the power of software. That's the power of AI. So to see or hear about this letter coming out, it's not concerning so much as it is just pretty. It's interesting in the sense that the people who are not wanting it to move forward in terms of training are the people who stand to gain the most for it not moving forward. And Elon wasn't the only competitor to sign the letter, by the way. And again, the idea, and I'm quoting Ben Parr here, the idea that there's any legal or societal way to pause all AI development across the board globally is absurd. It's asinine. How does that work? You know, if we don't take the bull by the horns, if we don't adapt and not just adopt this, but also adapt to it, it's going to steamroll us. This is one of the reasons why I've been wanting to do something with creatortech.net sooner rather than later. A larger event this year in Seattle, but potentially even smaller events like geophysical events in spaces, and inviting people to be a part of that conversation and staging to have those conversations, working on PR around it, and getting out to the people who might be interested in one way or another. So that I feel is the way to springboard a community. It's the way to springboard into a larger event strategy and potentially find platform collaborators. And again, creatortech.net being the crossroads between content creation, creativity, and technology, specifically emerging or disruptive technology, much like AI. At some point, that conversation pivots to, let's say, mixed reality, right? It's completely open-ended, So I'm going to be unraveling that thread because honestly, I'm not sure how much, what else I can put myself into that will bring something back. There aren't a lot of job prospects. I've been trying to figure out where I sit in the grander scheme of technology conversations, creator conversations, entrepreneurial conversations, things that I'm interested in. And that to me is the culmination of everything that I've done. So I want to be able to see it through. I want to be able to have that to build something new, but to build something that's reasonable and cogent and has a place, right? And that works. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that how details around that continue to build. I feel the platform will be an easier way of drawing people into an event, but I'm going to be grassrootsing this thing and partnering best I can, even if it's in an ad hoc capacity, even if it's a, not a long-term capacity. I just want to try. I got to throw pasta up against the wall and see what sticks. I got to know, because otherwise it's just going to be a gambling guessing game. And I can't do that. I can't do that. Hey, Fine Dope. Good to see you. Dr. P. Am I a doctor now? Did I get a doctorate? Did I miss that? I might have. I don't know. So anyway, that's all I've got tonight for TLDR. I know not a lot, but hopefully you got a good bit of geekery. There's plenty of other headlines that you'd be able to catch up on, certainly, over on the Discord server and the Tech News stream. It's just this cavalcade of links, and you'll also see the same headlines scrolling throughout the day and night in this channel. You'll see it depending on how it's staged. You may see it at the top. We don't have a lot of Jedi who are currently streaming into the feed at this time, but that is always, it varies. And hopefully we'll have other geeky activities lined up for everybody as well. Maybe things that are more interesting to you than they might be to me. For example, PC building. It's interesting. It's fascinating. I definitely want to do it. But figuring out how that looks, how that works, is a conversation that I've been waiting until April 1st to come around to be able to tilt into. So that would be one hell of an activity I think a lot of people would be interested in, certainly on Twitch. But for me personally, I feel like the AI conversation and the project that I'm working on with this with creatortech.net is a very critical conversation to have earlier in the game. How that works, how that looks, don't yet know. But it's technology, and it involves a creator. It involves software. I don't understand how you would not be interested in this stuff. I just saw it's so amazing to see. I would like to build one, yes, but I'm not a developer, and I'd have to basically collaborate with somebody or an entity. And I thought of something too, as I was. I gotta write this ish down. I'm about to wrap anyway, but like before I forget, and then and there's another one. I need to do. All right. Brainstorming, data dumping. Oh, I'm definitely not building something like ChatGPT. No. I would build something for people to have conversations around, but that's it. I know my limitations. I know what's interesting, at least for me. I love you. I appreciate you. And again, this is just a recording, TLDR. The live stream continues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. We'll see you later.